How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Salvage Auto Rebuilds, where today, as you guys can see, we have got a couple of new projects in the shop. So yes, let's maybe start on the far end over here, which is a Lada coupe. So this car belongs to a good old friend of mine, TC. For those of you who know who TC is, he has actually been quite a very active customer on our channel in the past, and he actually decided to give this one to us so that we can get a little bit of work done to it for him. And his method of payment is actually in the form of a vehicle, guys. So I'll show that car to you guys in a second. So let's quickly firstly just take a little bit of a look around this thing, and let me explain to you guys what is going to happen with this car. So yeah, according to his message that he sent to me about what he wants to have done to this car is we need to delete the hood, and we also need to fix up a headlight. And I think there's also going to be a whole other bunch of body damage here, because you can see this hood is kind of like a little bit, yeah, it's bent up there. So yeah, but we are going to be taking the hood off, so we're going to be fixing up the bodywork for him, and I'm not going to charge him anything extra for that. I think it's just going to be a little bit better if we can get that sorted. But on the engine side of things, as you can see, this car has been V8 swapped, and it is making probably a whole bunch of power. So my thoughts are that, yeah, he wants to turn this thing back into a street car. So what we're going to be taking care of is also suspension, and probably just leveling this thing out for him. Now, fortunately, we do have got some stock springs over here, which came off of the Rally Lada Maibu's car, which you guys will be pleased to know that actually has been sent back to him, and he's, yeah, I guess kind of happy with the car, guys. So he'll obviously still be able to give it his own little touch here and there if he wants to do that. But yeah, overall he seemed pretty happy with the car. So yeah, we're going to be trying to see if we can get some stock wheels or better wheels for this thing, just to bring it back down to, you know, planet Earth, because at the moment this thing is kind of set up for drag. And yeah, from what I can understand, he wants this thing to be turned into a street car. But as for the hood delete, he also wants us to add a supercharger. So we're going to be swapping the intake probably on this thing and mounting the EFI system to that. I see he's got an EFI system in here, so he wants the supercharger and the turbochargers deleted. So yeah, it's kind of just how things are going to work out. So these turbochargers are things that we are going to keep, because he told me that any parts that we take off the car, we can actually just keep it for ourselves. So yeah, his form of payment, guys, is this car outside, which is the Chevy Bel Air. So this is a 1958, and as you can see, it's been around. It's definitely seen some better days. It's kind of got all sorts of odd body colored panels, like the roof is a different color, and that door over there is a little bit of a different color. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that, guys. That's the least of our problems. So this car is equipped with a 283 cubic inch Chevy engine, and it's probably going to need a whole lot of work to get this thing back to, you know, somewhat of a decent condition. So we are going to be digging into this thing pretty soon here, guys. But for now, this is going to be put on the sort of what I would like to call a back burner. So I actually mounted some wheels on it, because it came with all flat tires, and I just decided, well, what the heck, we've got the, you know, the old Steely sitting around. So let's just turn the key here for you guys and see if she, yeah, she actually fires up. But lots of work to be done to this thing, guys. It's got rusty holes all over the floor pan, and apart from that, it's super dirty as well, and it's gonna need a whole lot of TLC. Let's just call it that, yeah. And also, I don't know, all of the chrome work is gonna be a little bit of a chore to sort out probably, and this thing's probably got a crap ton of trim on it as well. So we'll get to this thing eventually. So as I said, for now, this is just going to have to sit here, and we're going to see what we can get done today. So the second car that we've got in the shop is the blue Ford Focus, which actually belongs to the very same guy, Maibu, my old friend Maibu O'Reilly. So he wants a brand new engine fitted to his Ford Focus, and I already went ahead and bought the engine. So it cost us quite a pretty penny for this engine, but fortunately for us, this thing even came with some decent oil. So let's just go ahead and check the dipstick here. Just make sure of that. Alright, come on. There we go. Alright, so there's the oil level. So that is looking good. And we're also going to be replacing the gearbox. I think the exhaust that is currently on the car, yeah, that might actually still work. So, yeah, clearly you guys can see this engine block it's toast. I don't know what happened to this poor car. I think it may have, yeah, as suspected, it threw a piston through the block. So, yeah, this old engine is going to come out, and we do have got a 1.8 liter engine sitting around. Actually, I actually forgot about that. And I've also got two V8 engines here that I still need to send in for some refurbishing. So yeah, there's a guy named Holger in my Discord server. He actually offered to fix these up for us, or give us an estimate of what it would cost to fix them up. So we'll see how that's going to work out. But yeah, we still got this engine over here, which came out of the Lada. I think it was the station wagon back in the day. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember now. But yeah, we still got that engine. Alright, so guys, I think we need to get cracking. So first of all, what I want to see if we can do is firstly find our toolbox, which is over here. Alright, so let's bring this over to the Ford Focus. So let's focus on the Focus. Other things I would also like to try and see if we can get it squeezed in today, or maybe in the next episode, is remove the front right panel to the E36 over here, replace that, and also the trunk floor, which is also kind of bad according to diagnostics. And I might actually just rip this old fuel cell out over here, because we are trying to revert this car back into somewhat of a, you know, stock-ish form. But we'll see, guys. I'm still deciding what exactly I want to do with this thing, but the engine is definitely going to come out, because I'm going to put in a period correct engine, because this one is just, it's let's just call it different. It's definitely different. So guys, I've got a little bit of news about the Halloween Ford F100. So we actually did sell the truck, but I didn't end up putting it up on auction. So my good old buddy NK Gaming, Nate, if you're watching this, shout out to you, bud. You guys can find his link to his YouTube channel down below. So go and check him out, give him a subscribe, show him some love, watch some of his videos, guys. It's some pretty great stuff over there, guys. So go and check him out. That's Mr. NK Adventures. And yeah, he's actually the guy who offered to buy the Ford F100 straight off the bat from us. So yeah, well, he asked me how much it would cost to keep the truck out of auction. And I said, well, I'm hoping to get 125k out of it. And well, guys, that is what he paid me, 125,000. And that money went over to Uncle Bill just like that. So yeah, our loan is already halfway paid off, guys, and we haven't even been in the shop for that long. So I'm actually quite stoked about that, and I didn't expect him to just, you know, go ahead and pay the 125k. I thought he was gonna, like, you know, try and hustle us a bit, you know, get the price down, but he didn't even hesitate. He said, well, I'm even willing to pay more. So I said, no, that's fine. 125k, that's more than enough for the old Ford F100 that we managed to put together. And I'm happy, he's happy, he's got his Halloween machine, guys. So yeah, everybody wins at the end of the day. Alright, now talking about winning, we need to see if we can get this engine out of this engine bay, which I think we should be able to manage this. Just gotta make sure I loosen all of these bolts, and there we go. That is one broken engine removed, and I don't know, maybe one day it will be worthwhile trying to rebuild it. I don't know, we'll see, guys. I'm not going to be too worried about it, and, you know, try and get that engine fixed up soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and slap this one in. Alright, which is okay. It was just tightened on one side. Okay, so let's see how this thing's gonna go into the engine bay. It should actually fit pretty dang good. Yeah, let's zip it down over there. Alright, and then we are going to see if we can squeeze in here and get that bolted down. So that is our ground cable, I believe. And we need to head over to this side. There's going to be a bolt on the alternator. And alright, let's not forget this engine mount right over there. And we've got a starter bolt right there. Okay, so that part of the job is done, and we can reuse the old fuel line over here. So this should go in no problem. Just gotta find the exact sweet spot for that, and there we go. Alright, so that is bolted down all the way back in here. Let's see if we can actually reach this bolt. It's right there. Alright, I think I've got it. Okay, so now the other thing that I need to do is replace the transmission, guys, which is going to be a little bit of a... Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle with the car on the floor, but we're going to try our best and just see if we can jack it up with our trusty old floor jack here. Alright, let's go ahead and lift this thing up, and I just noticed this car actually needs a polish. Yeah, that is orange peel on the bodywork. Well, he didn't say anything about doing any bodywork to the car, guys, so I guess we'll just do what it has been given to us to do. You know, focus on our task at hand here. And just like that, the old gearbox should be able to pop out. Yeah, there we go. Right, so out with the old, which is actually still in pretty decent shape, so that is quite a bit of a win. Alright, so let's see if we can slap the new one in here and just see if we can get to all the bolts, which are probably going to be a bit of a headache. Alright, come on, there we go. Alright, and then we'll bolt down the ones that we can see down here. And there's probably going to be a whole lot of bolts still to do up here somewhere. Let's just see, it's very limited space. Very hard to see. Okay, but there's one over there, and I think on this side we've got most of them. Alright, let's just see if we can find any other bolt. Okay, there's one over there, and I don't know if there's anything underneath still. I'm doubting that there are any more. Yeah, we've got that one, and we did do the one that's somewhere over there, so I think we are sorted. That is looking good, guys. Okay, let's just close up this door again. Yeah, I wonder if I'm going to be able to get the exhaust on from this side. That'll be great if we can, because then don't have to worry about this too much. Alright, let's go around this way. Alright, there we are. Come on, there's another bolt over there. Alright, I think that is it. Okay, so no transmission mount on this car, so that is just the way that it is. Alright, so let's go ahead and lower this thing down, guys. And I think what we need to do still is just top up the coolant, because I think the coolant might be low now because we took the engine out, so obviously this is going to be something we need to do. Let's just check if we've got anything. There's a tiny bit underneath, you know, in the bottom of the radiator there, so let me just go ahead and fill this thing up with coolant real quick, if we can get it poured in. There we go. And then I'll bring you guys back up to speed once we try and see if this thing wants to fire up. I've got no idea if we've even got gas in the tank, so we'll have to see how this works out, guys. Alright, and there we go. So the coolant is topped off, and let's just make sure the oil is still fine, which it is. So that is looking good, guys. And let's also just maybe check there. Okay, the brake fluid looks good, so I think we are pretty much golden. Why didn't this hood latch now? Come on, there we go. Alright, let's see if this thing actually turns over, guys. It might take a little bit of time to start first, all, you know, because the fuel system is empty. But come on, let's crank it. There we go. Alright, well, she jumped back into life. Alright, sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Okay, let's shut it down. Right, and try it again. Yeah, absolutely no problem. Let's see if she moves, which she does. It goes into first gear. Yeah, and it moves. Alright, so I think this car is then sorted, guys. This is a pretty easy job. So I think what we can do now is just go ahead and park this one outside. Alright, we've got a couple of parking spaces around the back here. Let's just put it around about here, I think. Alright, I don't have to park this thing perfectly, but I think that should be good enough. Alright, so first job done for today, guys. I think that went pretty well. And the car definitely needs a little bit of polishing and also a little bit of paint correction. If you can just, I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but yeah, he's got some splotches and stuff on the hood. I don't know, he didn't ask me to fix that, so we're not going to touch the bodywork because I guess this is kind of his project still. He just had to get it, back up and running by means of getting an engine installed, but that actually looks pretty decent in the engine bay, and I think we did pretty good on this one, guys. So yeah, I've got no idea if he's gonna tag this car, with license plates and such. But yeah, you can clearly see this thing needs a whole lot of polish work still, but yeah, not really something we're gonna get into. Alrighty guys, so that is job done on the Ford Focus, and now I think we can start focusing, yeah, pun intended. We can start focusing on TC's car, which I see actually rolled forward because he told me that the handbrake is bad on this car. So just go ahead and see if we can get this thing more or less put up onto the lift again. Alright, let's go back a tiny bit. Yeah, the handbrake is set, but it's not holding at all, as you can see. So that's something we need to address. Alrighty, let's just get this thing more or less centered up here. Alright, a little bit more. Alright, that should hopefully do the trick. Alright, come on. Can we just move this lift arm under there and this one under here? Alright, let's go around this way. We're just going to do the same thing. Alright, that should work. And then the last one. Alright, looking good, guys. So that is probably going to lift up now. Let's just see how it goes. Yeah, there it is. Alrighty, not too shabby. Alright, so let's maybe start diving into the suspension side of things. Definitely want to see what needs to be replaced and what is bad on the suspension. Because clearly you can see this car's supposed to make quite a bit of power with that old V8 he's got in here. So the suspension needs to be pretty much perfect for this car to have any kind of road handling, road holding capabilities. So I think we are going to be able to get this figured out. Alright, let's do this. Cross member can come off. Alright, where the heck are these brake lines? There's one and there's another one over there. Okay, so that should free up the cross member. Alright, so there we go. That is the front suspension cross member, and the cross member looks actually decent. We should have actually taken the wheels off beforehand, because now it's gonna just be a little bit of a nuisance trying to get this off, but there we go. Alright, so that is the first wheel. It's actually looking pretty decent, guys. He's got some pretty nifty wheels at the front. Alright, let's take this one off as well. Alright, also, yet again, another decent wheel, but I think he wants a new set of wheels, so we'll definitely see if we can get him some new wheels. And yeah, this thing is not going to sit upright, so what the heck. Let's turn it maybe this way. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so let's start with brake calipers, as always. Alright, so let's see if we can get through these bolts of the caliper. Alright, well, so far so good, guys. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot wrong with this front suspension, but I don't know if we really want to... Yeah, we'll definitely have to dig into everything and just make sure everything is fine, because I noticed this brake line is bad and that caliper looks good, but I don't know about these brake pads, so we're just going to have to pop them out. Yep, there we go. So brake pads need to be replaced. Well, they don't really need to be replaced, but I think it's better to just go ahead and replace them because they are kind of inexpensive, and you definitely want to have the best brakes you could possibly have when you are driving a car that's going to be as high powered as this one. So let's just go ahead and make sure these brakes are going to be decent. At least the caliper on that side was fine. I would reuse that one and this one also, so that is not too bad. I think, well, we are definitely going to have to buy pads anyway, so these can also come out. And Yeah, these ones were also kind of bad, so it's just a better... It's just going to be much better to replace it, guys. So let's grab ourselves a screwdriver here as well. Alright, let's take these discs off. We're just going to remove the screws. Alright, so we've got the brake discs off, and they both seem to be pretty much brand new, guys. So I think the reason for that is because this car has been converted to a 5-lug hub. So yeah, even the hubs are going to be pretty decent, guys. So basically brand new, if you ask me. So yeah, that is looking pretty good. Alright, so now we are going to start with the rest of these suspension parts on here. So just take off the tie rods. And yeah, you can clearly see there are some parts that are not really broken, but they are worn. And I think it's just better to replace them now since we've got the suspension out. Alright, even that tie rod is on its last leg. So I think it's just better to go through everything and do a proper job here. Alright, there's the steering rack, also not the greatest, so I think it's just better to just check every single thing. Okay, upper control arm, also not the greatest, so yeah, I think this was a good call doing this, making sure we get everything removed. Yeah, shock absorber is also bad. Well, not bad yet, but it's going to be bad pretty soon. Alright, hub carrier, this one looks decent. Okay, so that's just great. If we can find some parts that are still usable, then yeah, why not do that? That arm is a little bit too far gone, so we'll probably have to replace it. And as I said, springs, we've got this set of springs over there. Okay, so we've actually got a decent spring that came off this cross member at the front. Well, at least on that side. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can take this off as well. Okay, where's this bolt? Alright, I found it. Okay, now our spring's also going to come off here. There we go. Yeah, springs at the front are decent, guys. So this lower control arm looks like it was replaced at some point. Okay, so not all hope is lost here. We've definitely got some good old parts here, guys. You know, it's not really necessary to replace everything if it's not bad. So this one is kind of bad, this shock, and that one is okay. So I'll decide whether we have to replace some of these things. But if something is as good as this, or even like that, I think it's still fine for quite some time. Okay, so this is, yeah, once again, not terrible. So I think that is our cross member now pretty much stripped, guys. And I think this is good to be reused. Okay, so let's go ahead and just pop it down over there. And now we need to start tackling the rear suspension. I think this time around, let's take these old fat drag slicks off. See, those are also still in very good condition. Alright, so just take this one off as well. Yep, same story. Very decent drag tire. So this actually gives me an idea. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, definitely not on BMW, but maybe on the Bel Air. Should we turn the Bel Air into a drag car? Because now we've got the wheels and tires, because these are going to be something that we can keep. Because he said all the parts we take off the car we can keep. So yeah, I don't know, guys. Maybe drop some comments down below if you guys think we should maybe attempt to do a drag build on the old Bel Air. So I think that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, let me know in the comments what are your thoughts about that. This lifted spring needs to come off because we are going to be leveling the car out. Although we also have got the... Yeah, I still got these adjustable coil overs that I took off of the rally spec or rally... Well, rally kitted Lada. Let's just call it that because it's not really a rally car as such. We just put the body kit from a rally car on it. But yeah, we've also got those. Alright, so yeah, these two rear lifted springs are still in decent condition, and we don't really need them for anything, so I'll probably end up just putting them in storage, I guess. But we'll see. So what am I looking for now? The wrench. Yeah, obviously. There it is. Alright, so we need to take all of these control arms off. Yep, we're just going to have to inspect everything here, because this car seems to have some fairly used parts, but nothing really looks like it's, you know, in terrible condition. It's just quite a bit worn, which is probably normal, I guess, but it could also be that this has been replaced at some point, but I don't know. I didn't really note the mileage on the car. Maybe it's got some decent amount of miles. Alright, this shock absorber is still decent, so which is great. Means less parts we need to replace. This one, however, is quite a bit worn, so that is going to have to come off. Alright, let's check these short arms at the top here. What are they kind of looking like? This one looks brand new. Okay, let's check the other one over there. Alright, let's take this off. Yeah, see, that's kind of how things are going. One is good, one is bad. One is good, one is bad. Okay, so that's kind of a pattern that we've got going here. Alright, so I think let's quickly pop off the drive shaft. Is that... Okay, that bolt was loose over there. Okay. Well, not to worry, because we are getting into this thing now, so we'll just check everything. The drive shaft is also not the greatest, so that might have to be replaced, or, well, it's definitely going to be replaced. Okay, let's take the axle apart. Well, take it off first, and then we'll take it apart. Okay, starting with our old brake parts here, we'll just check everything, every single part. Okay, so let's take these brake hoses off, both of them. Yeah, they both should rather be replaced. Okay, let's go and grab our screwdriver here again. And I might as well bring the pry tool with, because, yeah, we can also just check those out. Okay. So let's go ahead and firstly remove the calipers. Okay. Alright, this caliper looks brand new. So there's a good chance these brake pads are still new. Which, these ones, they seem to be pretty new still. Okay. So this caliper may have been replaced at some point. Can I just get these back in here now? Because this is something we don't have to bother with then. Again. Don't have to replace them. Just see if it's the same story on this side. Not exactly. But it's still what I would like to call in fair condition. Okay, these brake pads at the back on this side is not bad either, so we don't need to do brakes at the back. It's just brake hoses. Okay, so that is not too bad, guys. I think it's doable. All right, let's take off the brake discs once again. If we can get to the screws, there we go. This one is brand new because, yet again, 5-lug hub conversion has been done on this car, so those parts should be relatively new still, so we'll just pop them off anyway. The axle itself also needs to be replaced, so yeah, we'll definitely replace the axle just to give this thing a better foundation, starting foundation on the rear suspension. But these hubs are still absolutely spotless. Yeah, they are still very good. Okay, so we can definitely reuse those, but I'm doubtful we'll... Yeah, I don't think we're going to go back to 4 lugs. Because, I mean, the upgrade has been done already on this thing, so might as well stick with it. Alright, so the handbrake cable itself isn't bad. So, I don't know why the handbrake didn't work. It's probably because of the lifted springs. That is what I'm thinking. That is probably it. Alright, there's the differential. So this is a 2.0 and it is a locked differential, which in my opinion it's a drift or drag diff. I don't know. You guys can let me know down below. Are drag cars equipped with locked differentials, or are they strictly for off-road purposes, or are they for drifting purposes? I think it's probably also for drifting. That would make sense. But alright, let's do one more thing that is kind of suspension related under here, which is this main brake line, which is actually decent. So once we can lower this thing back down, we can also just take a look at the master brake cylinder. Right, let's bring it down. Alright, and seeing as the hood needs to come off anyway, let's just go ahead and remove it. Alright, and pop that off. Okay, so that's the old scooped hood, which I don't know if I should really hang on to this. It looks kind of out of whack. Yeah, that is looking a little bit, ooh, you know, it's a little bit bad. Okay. Alright, so now that we have done suspension disassembly, I think we are good to just maybe check out the brake master cylinder here real quick, which is something that I really want to just know if it's decent, which it still is. So that is good, and that can go back on then. Alright, so now in terms of this front end looking all out of whack, we're gonna first of all remove the old bumper here, which is probably gonna be jammed in here a bit. Come on, there we go. Alright, I can't tell if that is bent. It might actually be. So let's just check it out with our trusty old hammer here, guys, and see if there's any clear indication of whether we can fix some of these parts up, which I think this bumper we can actually, yeah, we'll just beat it a little bit there, get that looking straight, and now, yeah, let's just see what else we can get banged up into shape here. This has definitely taken a little bit of damage. Right, over on this side it also looks fine. Alright, this fender might need a little bit of bondo. This front panel needs to be probably replaced, but let's check this fender. Yeah, this fender is definitely fixable. Okay, this little spoiler down below still looks in decent shape, but this front panel is, yeah, that looks a little bit out of whack. It's definitely not the right fender, probably. I don't know. Can't really recall now if these, I think the front end on this car isn't supposed to be on it, guys, and I think he's got the wrong fenders on this, maybe. That is why we've got this big old gap here, and also on this side. So yeah, these fenders are from the facelifted model, and the front panel is from the older model, or the 2101. I can't recall exactly what it is now, but I think you guys know what I mean. So yeah, we've got the wrong front clip for the fenders, or we've got the wrong fenders for the front clip, if you know what I mean. So that is kind of what's going on here. That is why things kind of look out of whack and out of proportion. So we need to decide whether we are sticking with this front end. So yeah, this is actually quite a good looking front end for this type of car. So I think we might actually go ahead and stick with the front panel and see if we can find him the correct fenders, because these fenders are, well, they're not bad, all right, but they are the wrong ones, so that means they are gonna have to come off. And that one was actually just held in by one bolt. Okay, all right, so wrong fenders, TC. I don't know if you knew that or if you didn't know it, but I definitely noticed that now, and we're gonna see if we can make it look a little bit better for you, bud. So yeah, that is also coming off. That's the front left fender, and yeah, those are definitely the wrong fenders. So okay, right, so as you guys can see, the fender is actually supposed to have a rounding on that side. So we'll just maybe check with TC if he wants to stick with this front end. which I believe he would want to. I'm not too entirely sure if this front spoiler will work with the other fenders, if it's going to line up. So that's another thing we need to consider here. We'll see. I don't know, guys. We'll have to check it out. We'll get to it when we get to it. Let's maybe check for other damage along the body. All right, so there's nothing visibly wrong over here. Looks decent and nice and straight. No dents on here. Nothing back here. Bumper looks good at the back. This panel looks good. Rocker panels, let's just check those. I think we are golden. Yeah, this whole car doesn't need that much bodywork, guys. Yeah, that is a pretty solid looking little Lada coupe we've got here, guys. So I think what I can do still is remove these twin turbochargers. Okay, let's start with this. All right, take this off. That's the like a air box. Although it's not an air filter as such, because the filters are actually on the turbos. Alright, so I think this intake probably needs to come off. Alright, let's see what is cooking over here. Okay, we've got some loose bolts here. Okay, that bolt is... Alright, let's just loosen it up. Alright. That can come off, and then we've got a bolt over there, and we're probably going to lose all of the coolant now because we're taking this thing off with the thermostat housing. Okay, that one is loose. Alright, so these need to be loosened up here. Alright, so here comes the intake. There we go. Alright, so that is an EFI intake, although the supercharger intake, EFI supercharger intake, that needs to be the part we put on here. So I think these, if I'm not mistaken, they also go on to the supercharger intake. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. You guys can maybe just help me out if I am wrong in that. But okay, so let's see what else can come off of this intake that we might be able to use on the supercharger intake, although I think the supercharger intake is probably a little bit different, and we are going to need probably a wall mounted what they would say, what would you call it now? It's like a wall mounted EFI bracket, you know, it goes to the firewall. So we might have to go ahead and get that figured out. Alright, but the throttle body looks decent, and that's unfortunate we can't reuse that. Okay, so let's see if this gonna... Yeah, I don't know if this is actually part of the intake itself, guys. I think the chip can come out. Can probably take this out. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna get it out now, so... Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna bother with it further. Let's just leave that be. Okay, so we need to take these exhaust manifolds off, because these turbochargers are going to be replaced. Alright, and go around this way. You know what I'm thinking? Ooh, that'll be so epic. I wonder if this EFI system will work on the Camaro. It might, because, you know, let's face it, it's like a pretty simple thing. You just unbolt the intake and you bolt on this intake with the throttle body and also the fuel pump. The only thing we are going to need to get then is the fuel pump block, which is going to stay on this car, which is that. Okay, so that needs to stay there. So we're going to have the electronic fuel pump, and then I just need to get that blank for the, well, where the fuel pump is currently sitting on this engine. Yeah, there you can see there's the fuel pump right over there. You can maybe turn on the torch, but everything has been painted black in here, so it's going to look a little bit, you know, a little bit hard to see. But if we took this intake off, we slapped that intake on here, this thing's going to be EFI. Yeah, but I might have to get the intake also color coded, you know, maybe make it black or chrome. I think that'll be maybe something we can do, guys. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that idea. Okay, let's just go ahead and take this turbocharger off on this side as well. And then I think we are going to call it for this vehicle. And there's a crap ton of loose bolts on this engine bay, which actually kind of wants me to go through everything and make sure everything is still bolted down. Alright, but there's the other turbocharger manifold, turbo header, that's what they call it. And as you guys can see, this car clearly didn't have any exhausts, any mufflers, nothing. So this car was probably pretty loud. I didn't start it up. We actually pushed it here, so I should have maybe fired it up beforehand so that we could hear what this thing sounds like. But I think it's gonna sound a whole lot better if we can get a muffler back on it once we get the supercharger installed. Interior looks good. I don't think we need to touch anything on the interior side of things, guys. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing to TC's Lada coupe for today, guys. So I think things kind of worked out. We managed to figure out a lot of, you know, stuff. And we are going to be working on the BMW E36 a little bit here, guys. So I think, let me just get my tools all together. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to need to get the floor pans removed, but I think most probably we would have to get the car up on some jack stands, at least at the back, in order to remove the trunk floor, because I think our rear suspension might be holding on to it. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to see. We'll start digging into it and cutting things apart. So I think just to play it safe, we are going to remove the rear wheels. Okay, so let's do it from the sides. Alright, get some jack stands under this thing. So Uncle Bill actually gave me the heavy duty jack stands. He said he doesn't have a use for them, so he kept these regular ones in case he ever wants to do anything to his BMW E36, guys, which I can tell you guys it's actually still running absolutely perfectly. And I was thinking of getting the same engine that he's got in his car for this one, which is the M50B20, I think. I might have had that completely wrong. I don't know, but I think that is the engine that this car is gonna get in the end, guys. And what am I looking for? Oh yeah, the other floor jack. All right, let's go ahead and just bring this over here. All right, so now that the car's up on jack stands, we can probably get our trunk floor cut off this thing. So I don't know what that is going to entail. So we're gonna have to just try and do this. So I think for safety reasons, we are going to take the fuel cell out. Got no idea how this thing even comes out. It's probably got a bolt. Yep, there's a bolt there, and there's another one over there. Okay, so that can most probably almost not come out yet because it's still bolted down over here. Okay. Alright, how about now? There we are. Alright, so that is one racing fuel tank removed from our BMW E36, guys. So, yeah, that is definitely not something that's going to go back into this car. We are going to get it a stock fuel tank, and I might actually go ahead and fill it with gasoline beforehand, before we install it in the car. But now, why am I doing this? We'll probably have to remove our rear bumper. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do this so we can see what the heck we are doing. Alright, so that comes out, and now I can do a little bit of planning, guys, because we've got the new replacement part here, so that we can actually get ourselves to grips with what needs to come off and how far we need to figure this thing out. So it looks like it's going to be cut off right about there. So yeah, another safety feature I forgot to do. We need to take the old battery out of here. Yeah, that's just not really a safety feature, Funko. It's more like a better be safe than sorry thing, you know. All right, let's see how this is going to work, guys, because this is my biggest concern, is this trunk floor that needs to come off. And got no idea what else is going to be attached to this. Yeah, there's probably some related welds over here. That looks like it's not really related. That can't be related. This, however, can. Alright. That might not be it. Yep, I think we still got some more under here. I don't know if I'm going to reach it a little bit better from the top. Yeah, let's just see. Alright, so I think this right there. Come on, is that... that's not a weld, that's a freaking gap. Yeah, that's also a gap. Okay, so let's cut this off. Just see what happens. What is that? Nope, that ain't it. Alright, well guys, you're just gonna have to bear with me because I need to figure this out. And that is our tail light or rear panel. Okay, so that's fine. That can come off for now. Alright, now where the heck is this thing mounted to still? So let's just have a look at our new floor pan here. Okay, so over there it needs... okay, I see. Okay, I think I've got this. Okay, so we need to take the rear seat out, guys. And that means probably removing one of the front seats. And now I'm quite certain, if I can recall correctly, these seats are actually held in with screws and they are under the carpet. Which is somewhere over there. Alright, we should be able to get this. I think we'll get this. Okay, so just gotta take it nice and easy and see if we can get all the way in there. Okay, so this rear seat can come out. But now, I just hope we're not gonna set the carpet on fire, because that would be quite catastrophic. Okay, so let's see here. That needs to be cut for sure. Pretty sure of that. And I think these probably also then. Yep, there it goes. Alright, there we go. Alright, that is... okay. That's a bit interesting. Now, these are still stuck on here. No idea how that happened. Okay, well, you know what? There they go. We've got that off, and we need to take those off probably with our spring compressor thing, which I put on here. I don't know why I put it there. Probably just to show you guys that it can actually go there. And now this is going to be stuck like mad. Okay. Alright, let's do it like this. Let's put it back in place. Alright, let's give it a run of welding or weld. You know, let's just tag weld it. Let's call it that. We'll just tag weld it over there for now. Okay. Alright, let's see if I can get these springs off of there first. Okay. Yeah, now we can get them out. Okay, there we go. Take that out, and this one. Alright, now we can cut this thing off again. Yeah, strange how things work out somehow, you know. It's just gotta be done in a specific order. And now I lost the handle to the plasma cutter, guys, which is probably... yeah, there it is. Alright, come here. Alright, we need to cut this weld off again. And here comes the trunk floor. Alright, so... and as you can see, that is the culprit, guys. That is a very bad looking trunk floor. So this is probably going to be just scrapped. Alright, so now we can get our fancy, flashy new trunk floor in. Just like such. And now I don't recall where I put the electrodes. Oh, there they are. Okay. Alright, well, we still got 5 in this box. It's fine. We'll manage, hopefully. I just hope so. Okay, so let's weld that up over there, and we will weld up this over here. And now we need another freaking electrode, because my MIG welder broke, guys. It broke, and I don't have... Yeah, I don't know if I should get another one. I doubt it. I don't think I'm gonna do that, because those things just cost you a whole bunch of money, and you end up not being able to use it, because the freaking thing leaks all of its gas out. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and avoid that altogether and not get ourselves into that situation. And now I'm looking for more welds. I think we've got them all. Okay, well, you know what? We'll probably have to mount this back so that we can see some more welds. Okay, there we go. Pop that onto there. Alright, weld you up, and another electrode. Alright, come on. There we go. We got this. Okay, so I'm thinking the front inner fender panel should be easy to do. We should also be able to knock that out of the park in 0 time. Alright, so that is all welded back in. Wait a second, what is that? Is that freaking gap? Is that gap still there? Yeah, that gap is there. That doesn't look... I don't know if it's right. It might be something that we can maybe tap a tiny bit with our hammer machine. Well, not a machine, but you know what I mean. It's a hammer. There it is. Okay, if this was a snake, it would have bit me, but okay. Alright, let's see, guys, what is going on over here. Is is it the wheel wells that are bent, or is it just the way that this BMW has been designed by the Germans? I don't know. Maybe it's weight reduction. Let's just call it that. Let's call it weight reduction. Yeah, weight reduction. Alright. Or maybe it's an air intake for cooling off the fuel cell. I don't know. Any hobos. But okay, guys. So let's maybe do this real quick. We need to get our suspension back together-ish again. And we are missing some control arms. Okay. Potentially. I don't know. It looks like there's something missing. Okay, no, that's where the shock mounted, Funko. You... Shame. I nearly blamed poor Nate, saying that he missed some parts on this car, and meanwhile it was just my, you know, lack of knowledge. Alright, so I thought there was supposed to be another control arm down there. Okay. Alright, so yeah, that is looking good, guys. So we've got our shock absorbers back in. Now we can probably also get these springs in there. Okay, pop it in there. Okay, that is looking good. Looking good. Now the bumper can go back on. Alright, come on. Come over here. There we go. Alright, now we need to see if we can zip this down. Alright, looking good so far. I think that is not too bad. Alright, so now that that is sorted, guys, we need to figure out this front panel quickly. And I'm quite confident this will be easy. And you know what? That is usually sometimes the case where you think something is easy and then it's actually super hard. Because if you guys don't notice this, yeah, that's also where our shock absorber mounts and all of this. So this needs to all come off, and so does this fender. And probably our headlight also. I don't know. We'll see once we cut this thing off. I don't think we need to remove the bumper. I think this might come off. Yeah, we might have to just remove the shock. Okay, that is loose, so that should be able to come off. Alright, now if I take the shock out, thing's probably gonna freaking go all weird. Alright, let's just lift this up. Oh, that looks like it's going to twist the chassis, but it's okay. Alright, let's just do this real quick, guys. I'm going to grab the this thing. Yeah, plasma cutter. That's what it is. Okay. Gonna come over here. We are going to be cutting all of the relevant welds, but I think let's just quickly do this. Okay, as I said, I need to get this shock absorber out, which I've got No idea where the bolt is. It's probably that one. Okay. Alright, so there's our shock absorber assembly thingamabobby. Alright, let's cut that off. And now I need to probably dive in from this side. I might have to take the bumper off to see if there are any welds over there. Which I'm doubtful there are. That looks good. So I think there's probably some more down here. That might be for the floor pan. So yeah, this might be a little bit... I think this might be a little bit more complex than I thought. Alright, so yeah. Oh, wait a second. What is that? There we go. Right, that should be it. No, it's not it. Okay. Alright, you know what? Let's just... Where's our spanner wrench? It's over here, of course. So I just used it. Okay, so... I'm doubtful that this has got anything to do with it, but we never know. So let's just go ahead and remove this front bumper. Right, what can we see now? Is there anything still to cut over there? It don't look like it. Maybe there's a weld over here. Maybe there's another one back there. I doubt that is it. I don't think that is it. Nope, that ain't it. Okay, of course, guys. I'm so freaking stupid. Okay. Of course. This is bolted down to the freaking cross member, which is also not the case. Maybe the wires need to come off completely, because that might be it. Alright, now starter is over this side. Okay, this should free that up. Okay, wires are off. And that is still stuck on there. Alright. Well, let's just have a look at this part quickly. Where does this weld to? Okay, okay, I think I know. So this is where the whatchamacallit thingy bolts down over there. And now the question is, do we need to take off the whole thing? Most probably will have to come off. Okay, so that is that part, and that part is still stuck on there, which means headlight and blinker assembly. Okay, this is turning out to be a whole lot more work than I thought, guys. I thought this was going to be like zip, zip, you know, pop it off and Bob's your uncle. There we go. Those aren't screws, Funkle. Those are bolts. Okay. Are they, though? How the heck do these things come out? And what did I just loosen? Alright, well, oh, wait a second. That can just stay off right over there. I actually doubt that it's the headlights, and they do have screws. I noticed this now. Alright, so that is a plastic trim at the front. Alright, where's the pry tool? Let's grab this pry tool over here. I know I've got tools in the toolbox right over there. We'll pop this off. Okay, so now can we see any more welds? Let's just see. I don't think there are any welds. Okay, so could it be that the headlight is holding it down? Yeah, we've got some bolts there. Screws, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss with this now. Can't seem to get this thing off. Yeah, let's just strip the whole front end off of this car then, guys, I think. Alright, well. Let's just put our hood down over there. Because I really need to replace this panel. This is definitely a bad panel. And I don't know if anything is Holding it down over here, maybe that's for the rocker, but let's cut it. I mean, that's for the roof. That is not it. Okay, what else is bolted down onto this thing? Not the cross member, it can't be that. Are those aren't bolts we can take out, right? Are these? Yeah, those aren't related to that. Alright, well, this is turning out to be quite a little bit of a chore, guys. I think we need to probably take that off then as well. Let's just see. Maybe there's a hidden weld beyond this cowl panel thing that we've got over here. Where the wiper motor is. I don't know. I doubt it. See what I'm saying? That is all removed. There's nothing else here. Maybe we need to just do this real quick. Okay. Alright, let's start here. This is gonna turn into a whole freaking stripping madness going on here. Okay, let's take this off. Okay, so that is loose and the tie rod can come out, most probably just on this end. Okay, so that is off. Okay, let's take... Oh no, okay, wait a second. Okay, let's just take this off as well. This is our control arm, which should have a bolt over there, which I'm doubtful is relevant at all to these outer fenders or inner fenders. Well, fenders, you know, where the fender mounts. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so any more welds under here? Yeah, I don't see anything. Nothing over there. Because we cut that one, and we did cut one that was somewhere over there roundabout as well. So now I'm a little bit at a loss, guys. This is turning into be a little bit of a nightmare, and just get our floor jack under here again properly. Alright, well, I'm gonna probably see if I can figure this thing out off camera. And then what I'll do is, if I manage to get it off, I will tell you guys what the issue was, if there was any issues. But yeah, I think that is pretty much enough struggling for today with this thing, guys. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate every view, every like. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, guys. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. And also don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video today, guys. And I'll really appreciate it very much. And then I'll see you all in the next one. So cheerio for now.